A very good evening to all the students here who joined us today for this amazing session on CUET 2022. And today we are going to understand various facets of CUET in terms of the registration process, the eligibilities, the application requirement, how different universities will see it, and we will also understand how Delhi University, which is one of the prominent universities coming under the ambit of CUET, will look at application and assessment for the various subjects. So, thank you for joining in. We will want to keep it a very interactive session. So while I share my screen and I talk about the whole process, uh, please keep pouring in your questions. I will try to take in as many questions as time permits, and we will try to take questions as per what I'm explaining about. Um, so if I just begin by taking an introduction. Can all of you type in how many students who have joined till now are currently in class 12th and appearing for their boards in 2022 right now? If you could just uh, say yes or your name, it will give me a heads up as to how many students who have joined till now are going to be appearing for CUET 2022. You would put that on the chat box. That will be quick and relevant. None of you who joined right now are sitting for CUET 2022. Okay, Nausheen, thank you for replying. Okay, Rishank, Reed. Okay, we have a couple of students who are looking at CUET 2022. Okay, I get more responses. Kushi, thank you for replying. Okay, I'll just share the screen and we will first start to begin by what is CUET and what are they really looking at. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. And yeah, so there are more students joining in right now. So I'm just admitting more and more students inside. Okay. So this is the CUET bulletin, and I hope all of you have this bulletin. I will also put this bulletin on the chat box so that those of you who do not have it can have it at the end of the session. Now, few things that I really want to discuss from the beginning of the bulletin shared by CUET is the format and few notifications. So I'm going right from the beginning. Now, there are a few questions that you've mentioned in the form as to the date of the examination and the timing. So the application form began on the 6th of April and the deadline to submit is 6th of May up to 11:50 p.m. That's till when you can pay the examination fee and you will submit the form up to 5 p.m. in the evening. The corrections are yet to be notified. However, later in the document, at a couple of places, it's clearly mentioned that the corrections will not be allowed for a couple of things. Now, the examination date will subsequently be announced to each of one of you, but the examination will be conducted in two slots. The first slot timing is from 9 a.m. to 12:15 noon, and the second slot timing is 3 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. noon. Just give me 1 second. There are a few more students uh, who are messaging me. Let me just share details with them. Okay. I'm back to share screen. Yes. So, as I mentioned, the examination timing is clearly mentioned here, and you will soon be notified about the exact date of your examination. The admit cards will be sent to you on your registered email ID. Um, the examination fees mentioned in the bulletin. Now, coming to the broad features of the examination is divided into three different segments. The first section is language testing, which is divided further into 1A and 1B. 1A language is compulsory across all programs and all universities. So you have to choose one language compulsorily from 1A. And I see English there. So for novice choice, most of us will be choosing English as a language in 1A. You may or may not choose languages from 1B depending on which program you want to do or how proficient you think you are in an additional language. So there are a lot of regional languages and foreign languages mentioned in 1B, and we're going to look at all of those subsequently. The second section of the examination is domain subjects. The CUET has mentioned 27 domain subjects. Maximum a candidate can choose is 6 domain subjects as per the desired university. Because if you're, and this is only if you're applying to multiple universities or multiple programs within the university. This is also a question that some students had put it in the form that can I apply to more than one program? The answer is yes, you can apply to more than one program. You can apply to more than one program from the same university as well as from different universities. You can even apply for the same program at different universities. So in that case, for each university, you will have to look at the guideline from that particular university and choose the subjects. And that's why a maximum of 6 subjects can be taken. There is no minimum mentioned here because that will totally depend on the university guideline. The test will be an MCQ format, and in both the language section and in the domain section, you have to attempt minimum 40 questions out of 50 in each of the subjects. The third section is the general test. Now, the general test is to be attempted only for programs where the university is clearly mentioning that for this program they require a general test. So, for a lot of business management programs, for journalism and such programs, you will have to appear for general test. For programs in pure commerce and sciences and humanities, if the university guidelines does not say so, you may omit the general test. So there's a question here, is there any major and minor in universities having CUET test? So there is no major or minor by CUET. The major and minor is by the universities. You'll have to respectively check all the universities that come under the ambit of CUET. As per my knowledge, no liberal arts university in India is at present accepting CUET examination score, and hence the major and minor does not exist. However, there are a couple of universities in India which are not pure liberal arts universities, but they run a program called BA Liberal Arts, which is not purely how liberal arts should be taught. But in case you are wanting to apply for something like that, you'll have to check for a specific program guideline with the university. So those were the 3 sections that come under CUET, and then there are guidelines with respect to how you can pay the fees and how you can submit the application. Once you have this whole bulletin, all students of Careers with Kriti have already been shared this bulletin through WhatsApp. After today's session, I'm also going to share this bulletin in the chat box here. Also, I'm going to share the bulletin in the WhatsApp group for CUET workshops so that it is there with you for ready reference. Now, the next step that I want to discuss is uploading of documents. So, The form requires a scanned photograph, the form requires a scanned signature, and there are guidelines in what format and size you can upload the same. If you're coming with a category certificate or a PWBD, you have to upload the same as well. So kindly be very careful of what you have to upload and what is the format suggested. If you try to upload in a incorrect format, the application will not accept it. The next important point that I want to talk about is that all of you should download, save, and print the copy of confirmation page of application form, because this copy you will need to carry along with you at the test center. So please very carefully do not miss it. Um, uh, uh, do download, save, and print it. However, the dashboard is always with you. So even if you forget to do that right now, you can do that later, but you will need to carry it for the examination center. There are questions coming in. Okay, let me just take a few which are relevant right now. Universities like LSR and Miranda are asking for general tests if you want to take honors in political science. Yes, that is right. So that is why you will have to check university to university and program to program what is the guideline by the university. If that is so, you will have to fill it accordingly. There's a question on minority certificates. So if you are coming from a minority segment, you will need to upload that in the relevant category. There, when you will be filling up the form, there are questions on various quotas coming from defense, sport, minority, and whereas you'll have to select the relevant box and then upload the minority certificate. There's more question on, do the subjects we choose as domain subjects affect the choice of our UG courses? No, Vanchika. So, okay, let me give a clarification. The subjects that you will be choosing for your CUET entrance examination have to be necessarily only those which you have studied in class 12. You cannot take up any subject which you want to study further, but you haven't studied till now. So suppose if you want to study psychology, but in your school you are a PCM student, and you are, or even if you're a commerce student or you're a humanities student and you do not have psychology, you are not required to take psychology for getting tested upon. You have to be tested. You will be tested only on the domain subjects that you have studied in class 12, and that's why there's a huge variety of options provided there. Now, there are a few more questions. I'll just take few that are relevant right now, and then I can keep coming back to the questions on as and when I'm discussing that part. If you're planning to appear for CLAT, still CUET is necessary? No. CLAT is for students who are aiming for law colleges and law programs. CUET does not entail any law school. Also, CLAT is governed by the Bar Council of India, and hence CUET has no role in that. So if you're a law aspirant, you should not be appearing for CUET, you should be appearing for CLAT. Then the next question is, can I choose music as domain subject if I didn't have it in class 12? I have already answered that. You can only choose the subjects that you have studied in class 12. You cannot choose any domain subject which you have not studied in class 12. So there are certain guidelines mentioned here on the application form. Um, please read this document very clearly, what you can carry and what you're not allowed to carry. Please be very mindful of these things so that they do not unnecessarily add stress on the examination day. The help desk email and phone numbers are also mentioned in the bulletin. So in case any of you have any trouble, you can call the help desk or write an email to them. Now, there is also an advisory saying that you will need to carry the self-declaration that is downloaded by the from the NBA side, and you have to sign it, fill it, and sign it. You will have to carry the additional pen, of course, an additional photograph which you have to paste on in the classroom on the examination admit card. You have to carry an ID, a photo ID, so it could be an Aadhaar card or a PAN card or a voter card or school ID card. Ideally, I would recommend carrying Aadhaar card. That's the best way, you know, and the safest, which cannot be denied by any center. If you're coming from any category certification, you'll have to carry that. And of course, personal belongings in terms of water and sanitizer and food if you want to. Now, coming to understanding how the tests will be structured. So the tests will be structured as, like I said, in the MCQ manner. And this is the three sections that we just discussed about. With respect to the examination scheme, I like to come to the bulletin of Delhi University. Now, this is again another bulletin that has been shared by with students of Careers with Kriti. For other students who are joining in today, I will be posting both this bulletin and CUET bulletin on the chat box as well as on the WhatsApp group. So you have to go to the specific university you want to apply to, download their bulletin like this, which talks about what are the ways they want to look at, which subjects they want to look at. Now, Delhi University talks about the same scheme that we just discussed. And in the subsequent pages, they talk about the different programs that they offer. So you have to first go to the program that you want to study. So for example, you want to study psychology, or say you want to study philosophy or political science. Similarly, science and commerce and all subjects are mentioned here. Now, go to the specific program eligibility area. So suppose you want to study psychology. Now you'll have to read the program specific eligibility from the bulletin. So here it says candidates must appear for CUET in the following combination: any one language from list A, any plus any two subjects from list B1, which is the subject domain, any one subject from either list B1 or list B2, which is again the subject domain. So which means the student who's wanting to study psychology will need to study appear for one language and 3 domain subject tests. Merit will be based on CUET scores obtained from the above mentioned combination of subjects. Now, which means if you're taking more subject tests than these based on some other combinations, the top 3 subjects that you score in will be taken in plus the language for computation of your CUET score for the applied program of BA Psychology. The bulletin also mentions the different colleges that offer this particular program and the number of seats per program per university. The UR here stands for unreserved seats, and the rest are reservation seats reserved for various categories. So you will have a clear picture of what you're applying for and what is required. So you will have to be very mindful and specific about what combination of subjects you're choosing and what is required by the university. For example, if for a student who's wanting to study economics, the guideline is one language from list A. I'll request all participants to keep themselves on mute. Thank you. Mathematics and any 2 subjects from list B1. I hope this is very, very clear, because this is very, very important part of the application, choosing the combination of subjects as per the course. And I'll pause in here once to just take a quick update if this part is very clear, because if this is not, I'll want to rediscuss this, because this is one of the most important part of the application. So if you could just give me a quick heads up saying yes or no if you understood how to select subjects for CUET based on the program that you're wanting to apply to. Meanwhile, I'll just take some questions that are there. Does hotel management play a kind of role in CUET exam? No, dear, I don't see any hotel management university or college right now under CUET, but on a daily basis, many universities and colleges in India are coming under the ambit of CUET. So just stay agile and keep checking. If in future any hotel management institution comes under CUET, you may have to give it. Uh, Somebody asked me, are you sharing the screen? I hope everybody can see my screen. Please, uh, I would appreciate if students can respond to me in a yes or no, because then it becomes clearer to me that am I audible and are you able to understand what I'm saying? So, can you please give me a heads up? Yes, thank you. Okay, and I hope the screen is not visible. Uh, I can see your camera. Yes, the screen is visible. Somebody is saying the screen is visible. Somebody is saying, so I'll just share my screen once again. Just give me a heads up. Was the screen visible to you or not? When I discussed about the combination of subjects, please tell me, because it's important. I can pause here for a minute to see if this is visible to you or not, and if you have understood it or not. Okay, great. Super, thank you. And I hope selection, how you have to choose the subjects is clear. So I'll move to the next part. So, okay, would applied maths be acceptable for economics program in central universities? No, applied maths is not acceptable right now by Delhi University. It clearly mentions mathematics, but you have to still check it up. I will check and respond to this once we have more webinars from Delhi University. You can DM me on my number, and I would revert to you on that. Will CUET be the game changer? I don't know how to respond to this question. It's an interesting question. Yes, it is definitely a game changer, because no longer universities are looking at marks, class 12 marks, and they're looking at the entrance examination. Moving back to the next segment that I want to discuss, which is the syllabus. Now here, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Uh, this is the CUET site, which is cuet.samarth.ac.in. When you go to this site, it looks something like this, which is cuet.samarth.ac.in. There is a tab called syllabus. You click on syllabus, and here comes a long list of all the subjects that you will be tested upon. Now, whichever subject you are interested to know syllabus about, you can just go there and click on view or download PDF. And a PDF will open in front of you. I will also share this particular website link with all of you, um, so that you have an understanding of what subjects uh, or what is the syllabus of the paper. So if you see for general test, it says that this test consists of 5 sections. Each section has 15 questions, and the candidate has to attempt 12 questions from each section. Now, when something like this is mentioned, I want each of you to understand that they are clearly mentioned you have to attempt 12 questions. So if even if you are running short of time, you do not know an answer, please mark a response based on whatever you know, or even if you have to do an inky pinky ponky, but do attempt 12 questions from each section. Otherwise, you will be considered ineligible to be counted for marks, because they clearly mentioned that you have to attempt 12 questions. Now, the 5 sections I've mentioned are general knowledge and current affairs, general ability, numerical ability, quantitative reasoning, which is mentioned. The topics are till grade 8 level, and logical and analytical reasoning. So that's the syllabus that has been mentioned on the CUET website for general test. If you go to the website again and you see, there are similarly syllabuses available for each subject that you can be tested upon. So for example, if you take languages 1A and B, So it's clearly mentioned syllabus for class 12. And then it says that questions from language section will be following the topics, will be from the following topics, but are not limited to reading comprehension. There is from reading comprehension, there is factual, narrative, and literary reading comprehension. Then there is verbal ability. There is rearranging of parts, choosing the correct words, synonyms and antonyms, and vocabulary. So these are the kind of things that you can be expected to ask in whatever language you are picking up as an option. So I just took two examples to show you. You can pick up mathematics. So here, if you see, okay, so here it mentions mathematics or applied mathematics as 319. And hence, I think you are able to get an understanding of, you can sit for economics with applied mathematics. And the syllabus here mentions section A. So there is section A with 15 questions. Section B has 35 questions from mathematics only. Section A has questions from both mathematics and applied mathematics. And section B2 has questions purely from applied mathematics. And they have clearly mentioned how many questions they expect you to answer, which they want you to answer definitely. So please keep this point very carefully in mind. Now, they have also given a detailed syllabus with respect to the chapters they want you to cover for the testing of mathematics. So I hope this is clear to everyone how you can go to the CUET website and check on the syllabuses that is mentioned for the respective subjects. And I'll come back to answering few questions that are there. Would you have an idea regarding which universities have an option for an undergraduate music degree where they do not require music as a domain subject for application apart from Delhi University? Um, the question is asked to me by Pranjal. Pranjal, I would recommend if you could talk to me after this session directly about this program, this particular question, because this is not pertaining to CUET and I would like to limit the conversation today to primarily CUET. The next question is there any benefit of taking painting with other subjects as of the domain papers? So my answer is choose subjects which you can score well in and choose subjects as per the guideline of the university and the program. So be very mindful of what you're choosing, but definitely you can choose subjects like painting or physical education or any others as they are clearly mentioned in the domain subject, uh, provided you think you can score well. So you will have to do the complete syllabus accordingly. The next question is, can you tell how should we study for general test and study material? That's a very good question, and I will be next talking about the study material and the preparation only. And what is the difference between list of B1 and B2 for the test? So the list of B1 and B2 is available on the website. I will also share the same with you. However, you are free to choose subjects irrespective of B1 or B2. So from the all 27 list, you can choose subjects. The next question is, can physical education help in score well as compared to painting? Ritika, that totally depends on how good you are with painting or physical education. Also, when you study these subjects in school, these are more of practical subjects where you're not doing a lot of theory, but when you will be tested on the NTA platform for CUET, they will of course be asking you theory of these subjects. So you have to keep this in mind while even if you're wanting to take painting or physical education. Will board percentages matter now? No. So board percentages will not matter for most of the universities and programs where they clearly mentioned that the only decision-making criteria would be CUET. However, St. Stephen's College from Delhi University has mentioned that they would be giving a 85% weightage to the CUET score and a 15% weightage to the interview. And in the interview, they would want to know your percentages. Maximum number of subjects to choose are maximum 6 domain subjects with language or general tests, depending on what combination of programs you're wanting to choose. You have to be very careful in reading the guidelines and then take that pick. Then the next question is there any difference between CUET and CUCET? Yes, CUET is the examination that has been introduced this year by NTA, National Testing Agency, and Delhi University and many central universities and even a couple of private universities are now accepting CUET as a score. CUCET is an examination conducted by Chandigarh University only. So CUCET should be taken only and only if you're wanting to apply to Chandigarh University. If we are giving the examination for a particular course, but we do not have it in our class 12, then the subjects. I think I have mentioned this time and again. I will repeat it one more time. You can only and only appear for subjects that you have studied in class 12. For your CUET test, you cannot take a subject which you have not studied in class 12. So please be very careful of the same. The next question is, will IIM Indore admission students? No, IIM Indore has its own test, which is called IP-MAT. They will not be accepting any other scores apart from IP-MAT. No CUET, no other scores. Irrespective of course you're applying for. Swastik, I do not quite get your question. What I'm wanting to tell you is, irrespective whatever you apply for, you can only appear for the subjects which you have studied in class 12. So for example, you want to study economics, even if you did not have economics in class 12, you do not have to get tested on economics. You will not feel economics as a domain subject if you did not have it in class 12, even if you're applying for economics honors. So you have to just see the domain subjects which you have studied in class 12, irrespective of the course that you are applying for. I hope that answers the question. Now I'll move to the next segment, which is to understand how to prepare. And I will quickly share my screen one more time. So there are a couple of books available on Amazon. I tried to Google few and found a few options. So there is, all I went on Google and wrote was CUET preparation books. And I found there are a couple of books mentioned here. There's a book by Career Launcher saying CUET 35 practice tests. Then there was another book. I hope my screen is visible. Can you give me a heads up? Great, thank you. Thank you, Angela. Then there is a book called CUET, again by Career Launcher in 60 days. And there is a lot of preparation material available here on this book. You can even see from, you enlarge and see what all is there. So if they've mentioned what all they're covering in this book. So that's one option for you. Then the other options are, again, so if you can see here, there are so many CUET books available on Amazon. I do not particularly advocate any one over the other because I've not bought them myself. But most of the books by Career Launcher should be definitely very sound because they have years of experience in this field. And even the other publications like Disha is also a very prominent publication in the testing space. So even something from Disha should be very good. So you could take up books based on how fast they're coming to you or which book you want to order. But this can definitely be the study material for you for preparing for the CUET entrance examination. There was also one question by a lot of students in the form saying that CBSE has deducted certain parts of the syllabus and would we have to prepare for those as well? Now, my answer to that is that you have to carefully go back to the link which I showed you, which is of the syllabus. I'll share the screen once again. And go to the respective subject that you want to see. See if that subject, that topic that has been deducted by CBSE is still there in the syllabus. You will have to study that. If that is not there in the syllabus, you can omit it. So your guideline for preparing will come from this particular website, which you have to definitely follow when you are preparing for CUET. I hope that is clear. And I am sharing the bulletins both for CUET and for the Delhi University, and the guidelines for syllabus on the chat box. Please remember to take it from the chat box before you leave the session today. So here I send the CUET syllabus guidelines, and I am also sharing with everyone the bulletins by CUET and Delhi University. So I hope you've received the bulletins as well in the chat box. Please feel free to download the same. The same has already been shared by with students of Careers with Kriti. Those of you who have not received it or forgotten to download it, please download it from here. Um, Let me come back to a few more questions. Mass media course at DU requires to be a domain subject, but I haven't studied it in class 12. So Vanshika, I would answer this again by saying that you can take up any domain subject that you have. So if I open the bulletin of Delhi University for mass communication, I'll take you to that page and I'll share the screen. Just give me 1 second. So here I've shared the screen. So this is journalism, and this is, I move to mass media. I think you're talking about this program. Here the guidelines say any one language, which would definitely be English, mass media and mass communication, and section 3 of which is general test. So here when you say mass media and mass communication, even if you've not studied it, it's a generic subject that nobody studies. So in that case, you have to go to the syllabus again, and go back to syllabus. And here you see mass media, mass communication syllabus. You click on download and you see the syllabus as here. So this is the syllabus for you for mass communication. However, if you go to a program, say journalism. So I take you back to Delhi University website. And if you see here in journalism, you do not have this restriction. So if you are fearing not being able to compete in mass media and mass communication, you could take up a program in journalism where you necessarily do not have to be tested on the same. You can pick up 3 subjects, any 3 subjects, or you could just pick up the section general test from section 3 and language. I hope that answers the question. Okay, then the next question is, I have opted for applied math. Should I take up math for CUET? Yes, so math and applied math of both are coming under the same section. You should take applied math and fill up accordingly. Is MU accepting CUET? No, as of now, MU is not accepting CUET. They have not come out open saying what is there any changes. So as of now, we think Mumbai University will continue to take admissions based on class 12 examinations. But if they plan to join in the bandwagon, it's yet to be seen. At least for this year, we are not expecting Mumbai University to join CUET, maybe from the next year. So I think with this, I come to an end of today's session where I wanted to discuss and talk about CUET. If there are any questions, uh, please feel free to answer. Do CUET and CLAD have same syllabus? No, Ritika. There are few similarities, but there are few non-similarities as well. You will have to check the syllabus. You cannot assume on a generic basis because subject to subject, the syllabuses will vary. So please visit the syllabus link that I have shared on the chat box and check it respectively. Any other questions from the audience? What is the difference between B1 and B2? Okay, I'm sharing the list between uh, B1 and B2. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm opening that one as well. I'm sharing this bulletin with all of you in the chat box so that you know what is B1 and what is B2. Okay, the next question is, ma'am, is SAT necessary for going to Singapore for UG course? Who asked this question? Siddhant. Siddhant, please connect with me personally after the session, and I'm happy to answer that question. Let's keep today's session specific to CUET. Uh, Ma'am, what can be the best stream combination for PCM students apart from engineering? There are a lot of options available, Shitanshu, for PCM students. And again, I would recommend if you could connect with me uh, on a one-on basis, I would be happy to guide you with respect to. Uh, I think there are about 300 plus careers possible for a PCM student available today, and we could discuss that. The link for difference is not showing. It's not a link, it's a PDF. I've shared a PDF here. So thank you, audience, for joining in today. It was a wonderful interactive session. Thanks for posting so many questions and wishing you all a very best for the upcoming CUET and board examinations. For any assistance, you could DM me or follow us on Careers with Kriti Instagram page, and we're happy to assist you. Thank you once again for joining us. Have a good day.